Am I good, you guys?
All right, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen.
All right, I'm gonna. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Inspire Spiritual Communities Sunday service. So glad you're here. You are in the right place. We've got a great service lined up today, so get comfortable in your seat. As always, we'll begin with a brief meditation. We're going to take a couple of moments to let people join us in the room. So again, get comfortable right where you are and get ready to have a wonderful, delightful service. It is Sunday. It's a beautiful day. Even if it's gray, it's a beautiful day because you showed up. You are the sunshine that lights up the planet. So remember that. Remember your own divinity and remember that the universe responds to your divinity. Such a good place to be, good time to be here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Inspire. We've got a great service lined up. So again, thank you for being here. Let's take a moment and get comfortable. How about a little bit of meditation? How about that? How about that? So again, a couple of people are just just connecting. Get comfortable right where you are. And speaking of comfort, allow yourself to feel supported by your seat. Allow yourself to feel supported by your seat. And as we go into meditation, I invite you to allow your outer eyes to close. And when I close the outer eye, it's always a reminder for me to open my heart. So it's as if I close my outer eyes and my heart opens even wider. Let's imagine that. Imagine your heart opening even wider. And focus your attention on your heart area as you breathe, inhaling deeply the love of God. Exhaling completely into a feeling of gratitude. So we're inhaling love. We're exhaling gratitude. And we're allowing our attention to remain on our heart area. It's as if you can breathe directly through your heart. Let's do that for the next couple of breaths. Let's imagine that we're inhaling through our heart and exhaling through our heart. Inhaling love and exhaling gratitude. And so we relax in this moment. We relax into this moment. Again, just following the breath, inhaling deeply love, exhaling completely gratitude. Our attention on our heart area. And as we're paying attention to the heart area, imagine that you can see a beam of light coming from your heart, just projecting across from you. Beautiful, brilliant white light. And it's projecting in front of you as if it's a movie screen. And so we gently ask Spirit, what do I need to know in this now moment? We ask Spirit to show it to us on this screen. What's being projected on this screen? We're inhaling love, we're exhaling gratitude, and we're asking Spirit, what do I need to know right now? We simply be with it, sit with it. Love and gratitude, that's all that's going on. We've invited Spirit to bring us a message on this beautiful, beautiful white movie screen. Our heart is projecting a message to us. See that message. Feel that message. While we're choosing to feel, let's choose to feel love. Let's choose to feel gratitude. Simply because we're choosing. In your mind, just seeing that movie screen. Love and gratitude. And again, in your mind's eye, seeing that movie screen across from you. Notice that it's getting dark. It's as if the film has been turned off. And so again, we place our attention on our heart area. Inhaling love, exhaling gratitude. And as we bring our attention back to the heart space again, imagine we can open it a little bit wider as I take this opportunity to speak a word of blessing for today's gathering. Mother, Father, God, infinite intelligence, I am thankful and grateful for this gathering. Thankful and grateful for this moment and for the opportunity to speak this word of blessing. I'm thankful to know that God is all that there is, and I'm thankful to know that all that there is God, everywhere present in its fullness. God is everything, and everything is God. There's absolutely, positively no exception to this. Therefore, I know that I must be created in the image and in the likeness and out of the very substance of God, for there's nothing else. And as I know this to be my truth, I know the very same truth for everyone present here, that we show up individually and collectively as the very presence of God. And there's a unique and specific way that God is showing up, because as we have come together, we've come together in a unique and specific way that has never, ever happened before. And so already we are present to infinite possibilities and infinite potential. So I'm thankful and grateful to relax into today's message. Clear your mental clutter. We get set free today. And I'm thankful for the yes of our very own Reverend Alfreda Lanoix as she comes forth, bringing forth the message, bringing forth the sermon, bringing forth the light, bringing forth the word. I'm very thankful for Asila right where she is, who is joining us with the God shot, bringing her inspiration, bringing her life experience, bringing her love. And I'm thankful for everyone present, for everyone who chose to show up today. There's a light on, and we are it. And right now, I already know the world is made a better place because we kept this divine appointment. Oh, yes, this is a good day, a very good day, a launch pad to our greatest yet to be. It's happening now, and I'm thankful. I do release this prayer to the action of God's living, loving law, because what I know is that this word spoken is an announcement of the truth that is already taking place. It is done. I'm thankful. And so it is. Amen. So I invite you to allow your eyes to open. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. You know what? I want us to bless each other. Let's do that, okay? Let's rub our hands together. And take a look at your screen. Look at all the beautiful faces on your screen. And repeat after me. Welcome to Inspire.
Welcome to Inspire.
You are a blessing.
You are a blessing.
I recognize you. I thank you for being here. We're going to have a good day. Amen. Yes, yes, yes. So glad that we're all here. So glad that everyone's here. Thanks to the technology of Zoom, we are multi-state, international, and it's a great thing that we get to come together in the comfort of our own living room. So thank you for joining our service. As you know, or as you may not know, we meet on the second and fourth Sundays of every month, the second and fourth Sundays of each and every month. Our theme for March is Clear Your Mental Clutter. So today, our very own Reverend Alfreda Lanoix will speak on that topic. And then we also have on March 26th, that'll be the fourth Sunday, Reverend Skip Jennings will be joining us from Florida. Again, thanks to the technology of Zoom and the internet. Even though Reverend Skip's in Florida, we get to enjoy the message right here. Speaking of the message right here, we get to salute each other and anchor in our mission statement. And it's my pleasure and privilege to introduce our very own Reverend Tom Hennessy, who will lead us in Namaste and our mission statement. Reverend Tom.
Thank you, everybody. Let's put our hands together on our heart in our prayerful position. And we just greet each other, greet the spirit within. And we bring our hands up to our lips, to our third eye, back down to our lips. And we lean forward and we say, Namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you. And so now our mission statement, which is on the screen, which, and let's repeat it together. Inspire is a spiritual community of like-minded souls committed to walking our talk in joyous fellowship by demonstrating the power of love, compassion, and non-judgment every day in every way. Recognizing the divinity of all life, we stand together, stand united by actively liberating humanity, by healing judgment, fear, and shame within ourselves. Our intention to create world peace, piece by piece. Woohoo! Okay, now it's my pleasure to introduce Asila for the God Shot. Asila.
Thank you, Reverend Tom. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. That was really lovely, Garrick. I loved your opening this morning, the meditation and blessing. I'm Asila Calhoun. I am also known as Amina's sister and Anis's mother, Anis's daughter. And I'm thrilled to be here with you all today to talk about clearing your mental clutter. So when Amina asked me to share on this topic, the first thing I thought about was physical clutter, because I moved 7 months ago, and I moved from our apartment in DC, which was a 1-bedroom apartment, but packed to the gills after 7 years of living there, and moved back to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where we had everything that we owned in storage for 7 years. So we combined 2 households. And needless to say, the big effort has been clearing that clutter. And it's been a very slow process intentionally, because we want to make sure that we do it right and that we get rid of things that we don't need any longer. So what are those things that no longer serve us? And obviously, if you have stuff that you haven't seen in 7 years, you probably don't need it, but that doesn't mean you don't have to open every box and touch it and look at it and make a decision. And so it's been a very slow process, because obviously work and life and everything else. And my mantra has been the 3 Ds of donate, discard, and delight. What do I need to donate? What do I need to discard? And what do I delight in that I want to hang on to that really gives me energy and joy? And so when I thought about that, when it comes to the mental clutter, I was like, you know what, those 3 Ds still apply to our mental clutter. And so how can we kind of evaluate what we need to donate, what we need to discard, and what delights us so we can spend our energy in the right places? So for donate, I thought about donating the mental capacity to the people and things that are important to us, right? We spend so much of our time kind of worried about things that we don't really control, that aren't as important, but donate your time and your energy and that mental energy to the things that are important. Discard the mental clutter that's taking up space. We all allow people and issues to live in our heads rent-free that we never let into our homes. We all do it. So how do we just discard and get rid of those thoughts and people that are just cluttering up our brains? And then delight in those things that give us energy and make us our best selves, and hang on to those and let those really occupy that space in our mental capacity. So then I thought about all of the ways that I've used to manage my mental clutter, and I thought I would share with you. First is journaling about your experience, what's on your mind, your thoughts, your fears, your hopes and dreams. Sometimes writing things down can really help you clear the clutter, or close a tab. If you think about it like a tab on your computer, we can close a tab if you write something down. Another thing that you can do to clear your mental clutter is to write a letter to someone or something that you're ready to discard or donate. You don't have to mail it, but you can write it down and just kind of get it out of your mind once you write it down. That has been something that has really helped me over the years, is write those letters that never get sent. Nobody ever sees them, but I just feel better and I'm unloading and releasing some mental clutter. Another tactic that I use when I'm really kind of confused about making a decision about something is to make a pros and cons list to help me kind of analyze an issue or make a decision. And follow-up question to that can be, what's the best thing that could happen? What's the worst thing that could happen? And thinking about those two things and analyzing those. Number 4 is to meditate. And that's not necessarily to clear your mind. I know most people think, well, meditation, I'm supposed to have an empty mind. You're really not. It's not possible. We have 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. They're going to happen. That's your brain's job. But it's really about creating more focus and attention to either your breath or your mantra. And a lot of us find a lot of clarity after we meditate that can help with that clutter. Number 5 is forgive. Forgive someone for hurting you. It's forgive an issue that may be forgiving yourself. Let go of what happened. It's hurting you more than it's hurting them to hang on to that. And it's taking up a ton of mental clutter. So let it go. Number 6 is hire a coach or a therapist to work through something challenging and help you find that clarity. That can be a great way to work through your mental clutter. And lastly, but certainly not least, come to Inspire for a dose of positivity and a reset. So those are my 7 steps to manage your mental clutter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asila. Wow. So it's actionable, like usable. I love it. I love it. A procedure, a way to rid ourselves of clutter, both physical and mental. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining us from North Carolina. And thank you for just being such a beautiful light. Oh, what a blessing. We are so blessed in this community, you guys. Wow. Wow. In fact, repeat after me. I am blessed.
I am blessed.
I am a blessing.
I am a blessing.
And this world is a celebration of my life.
It's a celebration of my life.
And we'll continue with this, and we'll allow our very own Reverend Alfreda Lanoix to take us even deeper with the message. Reverend Frida.
Wow. Good morning, everyone. Especially with our new daylight saving time, right? I know I had to adjust my time, and my good girlfriend, Reverend Patty, she sent me a text message and said, girl, make sure you're on time. So I am grateful for that. Clearing your mental clutter. Taking the opportunity to see what is clogging us up. What are we holding on to? What are we carrying in our emotions and in our mind? Because it is always an inside job. And so I'd like to start with, what is mental clutter? And the definition, it says, anything that keeps you from thinking clear or from making choices in our lives for our highest good. Sometimes it can be as simple as, what's for dinner? Because the moment you ask the question, if you prolong the answer, it becomes clutter. Sometimes it could be old relationships, old thoughts, or old habits. And we don't realize is that when we're carrying all this around, we become mentally exhausted. Mentally exhausted. Now, the question is, why do we clutter? Where does it come from? Well, sometimes it makes us feel safe because we have been, the more we accumulate, it represents somehow we've made it. And so even though we have things that we don't necessarily use anymore, but just the point that we have lots of things sometimes represents to us that we've made it. Why do we clutter? Well, sometimes because we've been taught that mentally, the more you know, the more you have the answer to life, the better your life will be. But I'm here to share with you that that is not necessarily true. Why do we clutter? Mentally, it's because sometimes we are trying to be in control. We're trying to be in control of our lives. I have learned to live in what I call the I don't know, and I share that often. What that means is that I'm okay without knowing the answer, because I know the answer will come if I'm open and I'm not cluttered with all of my thoughts of all of the ways that I think I should figure it out. I know you've heard the statement before that less is more. And what they're saying is less is more. It's because the less you have, the more open you become, the more light shines through you, the more you can see the beauty of life, the more you can be present in the moment and accept and have gratitude and love. Now I'm going to talk about what clutters our mind. Ooh, because when your mind is cluttered, we have what they call free will. And free will is the ability to think what it is that you want to think and how you want to think. But when you declutter your mind, you're open to the possibilities. What clutters our minds? They say, and I've said this before, that we have 92,000 thoughts a day. Now, she said 60, but I read we have 92,000 thoughts a day. And some of us have even more than 92,000 thoughts, and you know who you are. But not only do we have 92,000 thoughts, that doesn't include the thoughts behind the thought. That is called our conscious and our subconscious. And when our subconscious and our conscious are not on the same accord, it is called the battle of the mind. And when we have the thought behind the thought, which is our subconscious, What that is our original thought regarding a situation, regarding something that we've taken to be our truth. And let me tell you how that looks in your life. You can read, you can get new information, you can meditate, you can find workshops, you can go to counseling, you can do all of the above. But if that original thought, that thought behind the thought that you have taken to be your truth, and you've not been able to address that, it doesn't matter how much new information you receive. If you've not taken the time to examine that thought behind the thought, you continue to make the same decisions and the same choices and having the same outcome. It's always that thought behind the thought, that original thought that runs our lives. Ooh. What clutters our mind? People pleasing. When we're trying to be accepted by other people, whether it's our families or our friends or society, when we're trying to have the likes on social networking, when we're trying to fit in, because when we're trying to fit in and we're trying to please people, our minds are clogged up with trying to allow those things on the outside to be more important than the things on the inside. When we feel like we don't fit in, we're being driven by trying to be accepted by others, and we don't take the time to learn how to accept ourselves. Because listen, when I've learned how to accept who I am, all of who I am, it doesn't matter to me what people think or feel about me. I don't have to clog my mind up with trying to figure out, trying to make you love me, trying to make you care for me. Because again, when I unclog, that's an inside job. There is no more freedom, no better freedom when you no longer are trying to be accepted and please other people. When we accept ourselves, celebrating ourselves, we understand and we know that we have everything we need in order for us to be who we are today. We can unclog and let go of those thoughts of not being smart enough, not being good enough, because all that you need in order for you to be who you are is an inside job. It is within you. You were born with it. And when you really learn and be able to let go of that outside chatter, people will constantly, if you don't know who you are, people will tell you. If you don't know who you are, you will find yourself in situations buying things that you don't need, accepting other people's opinion of you, trying to live up to other people's expectations. You get clogged up. But when you can unclog yourself and just realize that who I am is enough. I have what I need within me. What clogs us up is when we give our authority and how we feel about our things, when we give our powers away. We've been so conditioned. We've been so conditioned that if a person has a title, if they're called a preacher, if they're called a teacher, if they're called an entertainer or singer, everything outside of us becomes more important than who and what we feel about ourselves. Unclogging yourself, recognizing that that's their opinion, and your opinion of me is not my reality. letting our choices, letting the world choose who our leaders are. What clogs us up is traditions, stories that may or may not be true, stories that no longer serve us. You are so much more than your stories. You are so much more than the stories that people have told you and the stories that you've told yourself about yourself. When you evolve, you change. Those stories no longer apply to your life. When you unclog yourself, you recognize that it was just a story. It is not who you are. You are able to let go of traditions that no longer work for you. I remember when my daughter chose not to celebrate Christmas anymore. And I was devastated. Like, you're not going to celebrate Christmas? That was no longer her story. It didn't serve her. Ooh. You know, when I was a pastor, I chose not to do communion anymore. And of course, the church was in an uproar. But that no longer served me. You have the right to choose what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But you have to know the difference. Ooh. Making the choice. What clogs our mind? Religion. 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 Control. Religion was created to control. And so we plug into it. And we don't necessarily take the time to see, does this serve me? Is this what I truly believe? Or does this religion keep me from being authentically who I am? Does this religion tell me that it's not okay to be gay? And so then I clog myself up with trying to be something that I'm not. Does this religion tell me that women should be seen and not heard? Do I plug myself up and accepting a truth that is not true for me? My faith. Does my faith serve me? I say all the time, listen, I don't care what you're believing in, but if it doesn't serve you when it's needed, then you need to examine it and see where it's coming from and have the power to say, this no longer works for me. What clogs us up is looking for unconditional love. And we look for love in all the wrong places. If you want unconditional love, I suggest you get either a dog, a cat, or bird. Because unconditional love is not something that we give each other. Now, our source, God, that created us, that never judges us, that accepts us just the way we are. But when we're looking for love outside of us, we don't even give unconditional love to ourselves. We judge ourselves constantly. I can't believe I did that. I can't believe where I'm at. I really felt like I would have been further down the road. I really felt like I would have been more secure in who I am or my choices. I really felt like financially I would have been in a better position. We clog ourselves up with comparison, with measurement, with time. Oh my God, look where I'm at. And instead of acceptance, I am where I am supposed to be right now. Every step that I've taken was a step that was necessary for me. I am accepting all of my journey. When you accept all of your journey and all of you, who you really are, you can unclog yourself with judgment. Let the judgment go. You are doing your best. You've always done your best. But we clog ourselves with comparison. We clog ourselves with wanting to be what we see on the outside. Somebody else looks happy. They look prosperous. We don't know what price they paid. But when you can accept your journey, your steps, your experiences, you can unclog yourself and you can be present and you can live in the present moment with appreciation, with gratitude, with love. Oh, it's unplugging time. It's time to unplug our mind. Something she said earlier, one of the keys to unplugging our minds is forgiveness. And for those that are, Bible scholars, it says you forgive 70 times 70. So in other words, you let it go every time it bothers you. Ooh, unplugging yourself. Realizing what people do you have up close and personal in your life? What does your support system look like? If you have people in your life that are not positive people, if you have people in your life that when they call or you call, you got to put your guard up. If you have people in your life that their energy does not support you or you don't support them, unplug yourself, unclog yourself, let them go. Whew. What keeps us clogged up is that we want to think that life is personal, and it's not. Life is not personal. We want to make it personal, but it's not. I say that all the time. Please understand what I'm saying, is that life does what life does. Life shows up, you guys. And it's not personal. But what is personal is how you show up to life. You can unclog yourself by trusting the process, trusting the source, trusting, knowing that this too shall pass, trusting. How do you trust? Because if you remember the last time you thought you were not going to make it, the last time when you did not know the answer was always there. Trusting that it's for your highest good. Trusting that it's okay that you don't know what to do right now or you don't know all the answers. Because there is a higher power, the source, that is always there, that is always connected. Nothing separates you from the love of God. Nothing can separate you, nor height, nor depth, nor principalities. Nothing separates you. And if you know that and you trust that, then you can unclog yourself with those negative thoughts. The thoughts of I'm not going to make it. The thoughts of I'm not good enough. The thoughts of I should have done better. That mental clutter that keeps you from enjoying this thing called life. That mental clutter that keeps you from going within, because joy is inside. But joy, peace, love will not fight you because you have free will. And so it just waits on you, because nothing separates you but you. How do we unclog ourselves? Now, there are some steps, and she named a few of them. How do we unclog ourselves? We have to ask ourselves the question, what's important to me? What's important? What really matters to me? Sometimes we find ourselves living other people's lives. We live the lives because we try, to make our parents proud of us. You know the difference between when you're on purpose or even when you go to a doctor that's on purpose. I've gone to doctors that their bedside manners was just so beautiful. They made you feel so comfortable and so important, and that your life was the most important thing in that time. And then I've gone to doctors where you're like, why are you a doctor? So no, ask yourself, what's important to me? What's going to bring me joy? What's going to bring me peace of mind? I don't care how long I've gone to school. I don't care if I have a degree and I am teaching, but if I no longer have the passion, if teaching no longer gives me that fulfillment from within, then I have the power and I have the right to change my mind. Let it go. What unplugs us in our minds is to make a decision, to make a choice. Because when we prolong things, we take up that space in our mind, and then we give it a story, and then we can't move forward. What clogs my mind? I remember the moment the question appears, and I kept saying, I kept sharing. I said, I think I need to do such and such a thing. And, you share it with your friends. And I shared it with my friends. And then after they said what they had to say, I picked it back up. And I woke up in the morning with it on my mind. I couldn't even really have a good, solid, clear night because, when it's there, you're constantly struggling with it. And then the moment I addressed it, the moment I had the courage, the moment I was brave enough, see, because you got to be brave in order to unclog your mental stress. You got to be brave enough. You got to trust yourself enough. And the moment I was able to address it, my mind was unclogged. And there was this peace that came over me. And there was this joy that came over me. And then I began to say to myself, oh my goodness, why did I spend all of that energy? Why did I keep going back and forth when I could have just done it the moment it came into my mind? So make a decision. I said it earlier. Sometimes, we clog our minds up with what am I going to eat for dinner? We struggle. We go back and forth. We say it every day. What else helps us to unclog our mind is multitasking. We just so conditioned to do several things at the same time. And what I've discovered for myself, not talking about you, but when I multitask, something does not get the proper attention. Something always falls in between the cracks. Learn how to focus on the focus. Learn how to give it the best that you've got. When you give it the best that you've got, then you can release it, let it go, and trust the process. You don't have to keep going back and forth in your mind. You don't have to say, did I get everything, or did something slip through my mind? Did I cover everything? Oh, I was supposed to do this over that. Learn how to focus on the focus. Learn how to see what's really important. Learn how to let those things go that no longer important or serve you. Another thing, write it down. Write it down so that it can take away and not take up that mental space in your mind, and you're able to empty your mind. Write it down. The moment I write it down, I can walk away because it's there. I don't have to use my energy to try to remember. And I know for those of us that are getting a little bit older, honey, my memory is not as good as it used to be. Write it down. How else can I unplug my mind? Is let go expectations. Listen, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. But I'm not my brother's God. Some of us are trying to be gods for other people. We're putting our expectations on them. Even with our children, all you can do is plant the seed. Their lives belong to them. How they choose to live their life, that's their birthright. Just like your birthright is to live your life how you choose. Freedom, unclog your mind when you can take your expectations off of other people. Allow them to be who they are. And then you can enjoy them, because then you can accept them without your expectations, without your judgment, without saying what they should or should not do. In other words, unplug your mind by getting out of other people's business. She said it earlier. And a lot of times we let people dump all of their stuff, and then they're out doing something fun. And you're sitting there trying to figure out their lives. And then you get mad when you give them the advice and they don't use it. Let go of your expectations. Learn to accept people for who they are. But now that starts with you letting go of your expectations for yourself. Some of us are so driven, and it's okay to be driven, but you got to know what the hell is driving me. Because we're still being driven by those thoughts, by those things that people told us years ago. Somebody told you you might not ever be nothing. Well, then you take off and you say, oh, no, I'm going to be something. Living up to other people and what they say, you give them more credit. Take those expectations off of yourself. Accept you. That doesn't mean that you don't accomplish things, but that does mean that when you accomplish things, where it comes from your passion, from your joy, from your insight. Ooh, how do we unclog our minds? Give it the best that we got. How do we unclog our minds? Acceptance. How do we unclog our minds? Meditation. They say in meditation, prayer is when we're asking God, and meditation is when God is answering and talking to us. Meditation is so important in our lives because it really does give us the opportunity to observe ourselves. See, sometimes we're clogged up and we don't even know what we are clogged up with. We don't even recognize sometimes that we're still clogged up with abandonment issues. We don't recognize sometimes that we're still clogged up with heartbreak, with pain. We don't recognize sometimes that we're still clogged up without accepting all of who we are, and we have not celebrated our sexuality. We're still clogged up with those voices that have been planted in our minds with religion, what we should do, where we should be, how we should do it. We're still clogged up. And how do you know when you're clogged up? Is when you continue to have the same outcome. New people, same outcome. New situation, same outcome. How do you know when you clogged up? When you don't have peace of mind. When your mind is just going and going and going and going. How do you know you're clogged up? When you don't and you're not able to accept life. When you're caught up with the what ifs versus the what is. What if? What if I had done this? What if we beat ourselves down? What if I had gotten that other degree? What if, instead of the beauty of what is that every step that I've ever taken has created me and made me who I am today. What is that I'm connected to the source, and the source never runs dry. Nothing separates me from the love of God. What is all that I need in order for me to be all that I want to be authentically is within me. There is nothing outside of me that is greater than the power that is within me. I have everything, my GPS, everything I need in order for me to be who I am. What is? Life is good in spite of. What is? With each and every breath that I breathe, I have the opportunity to choose again and again. I am not stuck in any situation. These are the things that you possess when you can unclog your mental clutter. The more stuff you think you have, sometimes the more choices that you think you have. And so you hold on to everything. You hold on because you're scared. You hold on to the heartbreak because I don't want my heart to ever be broken again. And so then you never give yourself the opportunity to feel love again. And it was love from which you came, and it's to love where you should go, but you're so clogged up with that last relationship because you want to play the blame game. If you accept full responsibility of the choices that you make, then you can let go, because that's where your power lies, because you realize I am powerful, I am not powerless, and these were the choices that I made. Let me take accountability of them, because in those choices I can see what will work for me, and what doesn't work for me I can unclog it and let it go, and I can love again. Ooh. Mm. And you can stop gathering those things that no longer serve you. You know, in my closing, I used to shop at Costco a lot. Used to love it. But what I realized was that it's only two of us. And I was shopping as if it was a family of 5 or a family of 6. And so I was gathering things that I didn't even need. And next thing you know, I got all this stuff that I don't need. And because I don't need it and I have it, it starts going bad and I start throwing it away. Stop shopping outside of yourself. You don't need all that. Stop shopping and allowing other people's opinion to be more important than who and what you know. Stop picking up stuff and start going within. Letting go. Forgiving. Forgiving again. Letting go. That no longer serves me. That doesn't work for me. No. And then you'll find yourself where you're no longer exhausted. And then you get to feel the beauty of life. Life is an adventure. And then you get to move on to the next adventure. That as long as you're breathing, you have the opportunity to create again and again and again. You have not because you desire not. You have what it takes in order for you to create the reality that serves you. But first, you got to get the plunger out. And you got to unclog yourself from those thoughts, from those things, from that subconscious. God bless you. Thank you.
Reverend Alfreda. Wow, 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 wow. I got to say, this message was so rich. I'm looking at the participant panel. I've seen so many hearts, applauding hands, 100% signs. Yeah, you, as always, Reverend Frida, you touch us in a very, very deep way, and bring the message in such a way that we get it. We get it. And if anyone would like to get it a little bit deeper, maybe you've got a specific that you'd like to run by Reverend Frida or even Asila, we have a couple minutes for question and answer. So I can see that a lot of people have figured out where those where the reaction buttons are. Well, in that little area, there's a raise hand button. So if you are interested in asking a question, going a little bit deeper with a specific situation in your life, then go ahead and raise your hand, and Reverend Frida or perhaps Asila will speak to your particular unique situation. So again, this is a time to go deeper, a time where we each get to bring anything specific that's going on in our life. We get to get a little bit of guidance. So anyone who has a question, go ahead and raise your hand. I keep seeing hearts. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it is not surprising, Reverend Frida, you're so clear. It is not surprising that I don't see a bunch of hands up, because it's just, you just have that unique way of giving us exactly what we need in a way that we understand. I do have a question. Hold on. We've got Kathy. Kathy, I'm going to go ahead and invite you to unmute if you'd like to go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
It's not so much of a question, it's just an observation. When you said that unclutter your mind and things as simple as, what are we going to have for dinner?
Yeah.
That's absolutely profound, because a good portion of the time, that's a discussion between Amina and I. It's like, what are we going to have? I don't know what you want. What do you want? I'm not sure. I'm not in the mood for that. But by the time we've gone through all of that, we're both like, we're hangry. We're just going to have a sandwich or whatever. So that was right on, just
Thank
right
you.
on, just right on point, just beautiful.
Thank you. Because a lot of times we don't know, making a decision or making a choice, it's not always major. Not every day do we have to make the major decisions. where we're going to move, or, am I going to, change careers, but just the everyday function in our lives. We spend so much energy. And like you said, by the time it's dinner time, I wake up in the morning. Okay, I'll even do better than that. My girlfriend, she goes to work and I work from home. And I promise you, around 10:30, 11 o'clock, she's going to call. And the first things that she's going to mention is, honey, what are we having for dinner? And it feels so good when I already know. When I can say, oh yeah, we're gonna do something. But when I don't, then all of a sudden now with everything else I'm doing, I have to put that, and I stop and I go like, oh my goodness, what are we gonna what are we gonna have? And when I look at it, I've spent hours, literally hours, trying to figure out. And then by the time it's dinner time or we get there, I might say, look, just stop by and pick up a hamburger. So thank you for that observation. Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And again, if you've got a question, go ahead and raise your hand. I'm going to invite Jonathan to unmute. Go ahead and unmute, Jonathan, and Reverend Frida is here for you.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or afternoon, actually. Reverend Alfreda Lanoix, you are a blessing to me and to many others. I love you dearly. I really appreciate it. I knew I needed to be here. I'm here with my little nephew, and he's checking us out. I wanted to know from you, as an adult, I deal with a lot of that, carrying a lot of those things that I've allowed thoughts, people's energy, perspectives, and ways of living in the community onto me. And it's been difficult for me to let that go. It's so deeply embedded, 30, 40, 50 plus years. And it's easier said than done. And I really want to loose that stuff. I really, really want to loose that stuff. What would you suggest are some of the things that some people forget that are right in front of our face that we need to do to do that unpacking and really grow in a healthier mindset and spirituality as well?
That's a really great question, Jonathan. And I think what's important in our lives is that we have to, first of all, question, why are we doing a certain thing? Those of us who are caretakers and those of us who, we have created where our lives are based off of what we're doing for other people, saving the community, and the thing about the community is that there is no saving. There's no saving of the community because everybody has to play their own part. And like I said earlier, I can be a caretaker, but there's a difference between being a caretaker and being your God. And a lot of times we kind of cross that line and we look up and we be thinking, we be in that mind of the God set for our community versus being a caretaker. And so what happens is that when it starts to really seek within our beings, where it starts to overtake our minds, where there's no longer this joy, in serving, or if there's no longer this passion in serving, then we have to be brave enough to say, this no longer serves me. How do I know that? It's because I keep having the same feelings. See, our feelings are authentic. They're true. Our minds can say many things because, again, our minds are cluttered. Our minds, are telling us what we should do, or we haven't done enough, or we should give enough. But our bodies, our feelings, our intuition, our intuition tells us when it's too much, when this is becoming too much, when you start not wanting to face yourself, when you start not wanting to get up out of bed, when you no longer have that joy within you, then you have to be brave enough to say, okay, I was driven. What's been driving me that no longer serves me? And I must now be true to myself. Shakespeare said it so clearly. He said, above all, to thine own self be true. Above all. In other words, above everything, above the titles in the community, above the people in your lives, above all, be true to thyself. Because if you're not being true to yourself, then you really don't have anything to give. You're just kind of spinning your wheels. I can't hear you. Okay. Does that answer your question?
We're getting a nod and a thumbs up. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. We have one more question, Reverend Tom. I'm going to invite you to be succinct because we are running out of time, but Reverend Tom, go ahead and unmute.
Well, it's not a question. It's like in my past, when I was working, when I was getting burned out, and I could feel that burnout, within me, then the universe would quietly nudge me along. We would get laid off or something, and so then I would be, oh, what's going to happen now? But then it was also a relief. I was not having to do all of this supervising these people and answering to my higher people who really they were micromanaging because they didn't know what they were doing anyway. So so this brings it out. And when you get that burnout, within, it's the universe nudging you, say you're no longer here, you don't belong here anymore, and circumstances will come up and you will get laid off, in a way that you would quit. You would have another job lined up, something like that, and it always worked. It was always a stepping stone.
Always. Our minds always wants us to think that this is all that there is. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, if I leave, Tom, I had the same experience. I was working for the transit, for Metro, and I was so tired and I was so burnt out, but they paid so well. And I remember going to my mom and saying to my mom, oh, I'm so burnt out. And she was like, girl, you can't leave that good paying job. Because once, our mind lets us or makes us feel that this is all that there is, and there is always so much more. So much more. At that time, you could not have told me that, you know what, you're going to go into the ministry, you're going to be able to share with people, you're going to be able to enjoy your life, because we're so conditioned that mental clutter, that life is hard. Like when things come so easy, we will discard that because it came too easy. Oh, no, that's not the right thing, because that was too easy. Because it's got to be hard. It's got to be a struggle. It's got to be, oh my God. That's that mental. And we're exhausted. And from that very exhausted place or intersection in our minds, we make major decisions and choices in our lives. And then we wonder, why do we continue to have the same outcome? They always tell you, before you make a major decision or choice in your life, to take a nap. Take a nap. Because your mind is so conditioned and is so connected to every disappointment you ever had, to all of your pain. Your mind is constantly just waiting to say, I told you so. I told you he wasn't no good. Why did you pick that? Okay, I get carried away.
Keeping it real, Reverend Fried. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Tom, for inviting that clarification. Wow. Oh my goodness, you guys, we got a world to light up out there. Ah, and I want to invite you, if you found any value in this service, to consider a donation to the Inspire Spiritual Community. We are expanding our outreach. As I mentioned in the beginning, we are a global community now. And so your donations help us reach people who might not otherwise receive this message. Gay and God can go together. Absolutely. Gay and God need to go together. And there's someone in some state or some country that needs this message. If you go to inspirespiritualcommunity.org/donate, we welcome any donation. Also, you received an email with the link to today's service. If it's easier for you, go back in your emails and find that there's a donate button on the email. You can click that and make a donation. Also, if you want to help create a world that works for everyone, you can share this message with your friends. If you go to inspirespiritualcommunity.org, then you can also find archived messages from previous services, or you can go to YouTube and look for Inspire Spiritual Community, and you can see a catalog of our services. That way, if you want a midweek dose of the message, or if you have a friend who needs to hear it from somebody other than you, you can direct them to Inspire so that they can hear the message. So I'm so thankful that we have an archive and that we keep building that archive, and your donations make all of this possible. So thank you for donating. Thank you for sharing with a friend, and thank you for showing up today. It's a beautiful day. And so I'm going to invite Reverend Alfreda to give us our benediction, and then we'll be on our way. Reverend Alfreda.
Thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you for everyone that showed up. Listen, a colored mind keeps you from the joy of life. If you are not enjoying your life, there are some things that you need to simply let go. You are so powerful. You're not powerless, and you can create a reality that will serve you. Without the joy of life, what's the sense of it? We're not here to struggle we're here to partake and partake with everything that the universe has given us. The ocean, the birds. With a cluttered mind, you can't even see the beauty that is around you, the beauty that is within you. Wise and wonderful, wonderful universe. In our closing, we just thank you that we have the courage, because it takes courage to be free from those negative thoughts that people have taught us, to be free from a religion that no longer serves us, to be free to stand on our own truth, to be free to go within and to recognize that everything we need is within us in order for us to be authentically who we are, to be free to have gratitude. Even to have gratitude, I must get rid of the clutter of what I feel like I'm lacking or what I feel like I don't have, because I have it all. And when I let go of the clutter of those thoughts that don't serve me, that says I don't deserve, that says that I'm not good enough, that says that my choices are mistakes. Nothing is a mistake. Everything is an experiment or an experience, and that's what we came here to do. Whew, just let it go. Whew, and begin to embrace You are at right where you're supposed to be right now. And you have the power to create again and again and again. And for this, we just say, and so it is, and so shall it be. Amen. Yes.
Mm. Yes.
Yes.
So much, Reverend Frida. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's a beautiful day. I think there's a couple of awards. There's an award show on, right? Yeah, there's all kinds of great stuff happening today. But remember, we're the star of the show. We're
Yes.
the star of the show. And anything that tries to dim our light is clutter. Let's let it go. Let it go and let's shine. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone, for being here. I'll see you on March 26th, where Reverend Skip Jennings brings us a wonderful message as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a gorgeous day, and I'll do the same. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was amazing. Love you all. Mwah.
Love you.
Yes. Our community is so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Yes.
good-